Hi, hello everyone. This is me Devaharini and today I will be discussing about the topics folate and vitamin B12. So yes, often people get confused with these two vitamins I guess, but by today I hope it will be easy for you people to understand. I have given the important questions and an easy clinical case scenario to relate with these vitamins. Before going on the topic, you should know what does the term vitamin means. Vitamins are the organic compounds which are taken in the diet in small amounts. It is classified into fat soluble vitamins and the water soluble vitamins, in which today we are going to discuss about the hematopoietic vitamins, which is the folate and cyanocobalamin, in detail in the upcoming slides. So we will go in an order which will be easy for you to understand. That is, firstly we will have a case scenario, then a small intro about these two vitamins, that is the vitamin B9 and vitamin B12. Then we will start off with its chemistry, that is the chemical structure of these vitamins, then its dietary sources, recommended daily allowance, how it is absorbed and transported, where it is stored, what are their biochemical function, if the person is already having an underlying disease, how will be the risk factor related to these vitamins, deficiency symptoms, to know or confirm with the particular deficiency, what investigations you will do. After confirming with the investigations, how will you proceed with the treatment. At the end, I will say about the interrelation between these two vitamins. Case scenario: a 30-year-old married female who was diagnosed with T-loop colostomy state was pale and anemic. Her PBS showed macrocytic anemia and her bone marrow showed megaloblastic appearance. Her serum folic acid level is mild decrease, but the serum vitamin B12 level was within normal limit. So, what could be the probable diagnosis? At the end, I will discuss the diagnosis to this case scenario briefly. Vitamin B9 and vitamin B12 together called as hematopoietic vitamins, as heme, which is involved in the formation of red blood cells. These both vitamins not only involved in the formation of red blood cells but also the white blood cells and synthesize the genetic material DNA. Folic acid is abundantly found in green leafy vegetables and it is important for the one carbon metabolism. Whereas vitamin B12 is called as the anti-pernicious anemia vitamin, is the unique and the last vitamin to be discovered, which is synthesized only by the microorganism. Vitamin B9 is important in the prenatal health, whereas vitamin B12 is important for the proper functioning of the nervous system. These two vitamins cannot be produced in the body, so they must be supplied only through the diet. First, we'll start off with vitamin B9, its chemistry. Folic acid, of which contains three components, that is the pteridine ring, the para-aminobenzoic acid, and the glutamic acid, which contains 1 to 7 residues. If one residue is present, it is called as the teriol glutamic acid. When there is an involvement of the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase along with the two reducing equivalents, that is 2-NADPH, there is a formation of the active form of folic acid, which is the tetrahydrofolic acid. In the exam, you need not to write this structure, but you should know that the folic acid is converted to its active form, that is the tetrahydrofolic acid, by the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase. Dietary sources. Folic acid is widely distributed in nature. The rich sources are the green leafy vegetables and in some fruits like fresh orange, grapefruit, papaya, and banana. So, here is the question of who should take folic acid and why should you take them. All pregnant women and women who might become pregnant should take folic acid. And for the question for why, it's because folic acid is crucial for the early fetal development, deficiency of which can lead to spinal cord irregularities. Recommended daily allowance. The daily recommended dose is about 200 microgram, whereas in pregnancy and lactation you can see that there is an increased intake of folic acid. Particularly in pregnancy there is a high intake of folic acid to prevent the neural tube defects of the fetus. That is, in pregnancy of about 400 to 800 micrograms is taken and in lactation of about 300 micrograms is taken. Absorption, transport, and storage. In the folic acid supplements, polyglutamate structures are found. These polyglutamates are not absorbed into the stomach, so they are directed into the small intestine, that is, in the duodenum and jejunum, where the enzyme folate conjugase is present. This enzyme goes and binds with this polyglutamate structure and cleaves them into glutamate residues, from which only a single monoglutamate folic acid is absorbed into these interstitial cells. Inside these cells, tetrahydrofolates are found as the polyglutamate derivatives. Liver stores this folic acid as polyglutamate and in circulation N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate is found. The body can store 10 to 12 milligram of folic acid, which can usually last for 2 to 3 months. Biochemical function. One of the most important function is it is involved in the 1-carbon metabolism. Tetrahydrofolate serves as an acceptor or donor of 1-carbon units. Some of the important 1-carbon metabolic products are purines, pyrimidines, N-formylmethionine, which is the initiator of the protein biosynthesis, is also formed. As I have said, it is important in making the healthy new red blood cells and also synthesize and repair the DNA. Risk factors where the deficiency can occur at a higher rate, such as alcoholics, pregnancy, and people who take drugs like phenobarbital and phenytoin, that is the anticonvulsant drugs, and the malabsorption disease such as celiac disease and inflammatory bowel disease. So, along with this, epileptic patients, type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and mainly most importantly, you guys should know that people undergoing kidney dialysis should take folic acid. Deficiency symptoms, which are the alert signal. So the people who are folate deficient will be weak, they will have headache, shortness of breath and heart palpitations. Along with them, soreness of the tongue and a change in color of the skin, hair and fingernails is also seen. Lower levels of folate may more likely to experience depression. Some researchers also suggest that taking folic acid before and during the early pregnancy could reduce the chance that the baby will have autism. Doctors may use folic acid to support a methotrexate prescription for rheumatoid arthritis, as methotrexate causes the gastrointestinal symptoms. As I have said, folate is important in the formation of red blood cell deficiency, of which causes folate deficiency anemia. This will lead to decreased production of purines and DTMP that will impair the DNA synthesis, leading to macrocytic anemia. The macrocytic anemia, where abnormal large red blood cells is seen, is associated with the megaloblastic changes in the bone marrow, which is one of the important characteristic features of the folate deficiency. As I have said, in pregnancy, there should be an increased intake of folic acid. Deficiency would lead to neural tube defects such as spine bifida and encephaly, and also preterm birth, heart irregularities, and cleft palate. So all women who could soon become pregnant should take 400 micrograms of folic acid daily from the supplements or from the fortified foods. In the metabolism of histidine, histidine is converted into FIGLU, that is a formimnoglutamate. This formimnoglutamate is converted into glutamate, for which the tetrahydrofolate is required. This tetrahydrofolate is converted into formimnotetrahydrofolate. In the folate deficiency, there will be no formation of the tetrahydrofolate, leading to FIGLU accumulation and its excretion in the urine. Homocysteine is converted into methionine, for which tetrahydrofolate is required. In the deficiency of the folate, there will be no formation of its active form, leading to hyperhomocysteinemia. This is associated with increased risk of the atherosclerosis, thrombosis, and hypertension. Investigations. The peripheral blood smear shows hypersegmented neutrophil. The serum folate level is to be assessed. The normal is about 2 to 20 Ng per ml. FIGLU test, homocystinuria and AICAR is done, which is nothing but 5-aminoimidazole 4-carboxamide ribonucleotide, which is the alarmone signaling in the folate deficiency. Treatment. Folic acid is given orally of about 1 to 5 mg daily for people who cannot take orally. So for them, intramuscular or intravenous injection is given. Do you know when folinic acid is given? In the toxicity of the methotrexate, that is the folic acid antagonist. So at that time, folinic acid is given. Will there be any side effects? No, there is no serious side effects seen, but there can be an upset stomach, even though the increased level of the folic acid will be excreted in the urine, as it's a water soluble vitamin. Now we are moving on to the next topic, which is the vitamin B12, its chemistry. The empirical formula of which is C63H90N14O14PCO. It contains a component called choline ring, in which CO represents the cobalt atom, RR represents the pyrrole ring. The cobalt atom is surrounded by the 4 pyrrole units such as A, B, C, D, whose substituents can be methyl, acetamide and propionamide. The 4 pyrrole nitrogen atom is connected to the cobalt atom. It is also connected to another nitrogen atom of dimethylbenzeimidazole, which contains ribose 5-phosphate and amino isopropanol, whose substituents can be cyanide, hydroxyl, nitrite. When this cyanide of the choline ring is replaced by the 5-deoxyadenosyl, it is called as the 5-deoxyadenosyl cobalamin, and when it is replaced by the methyl group, it is called as the methylcobalamin. These two cobalamines are called the coenzymes of the vitamin B12. Dietary sources. Vitamin B12 is synthesized only by the anaerobic microorganism, so hence it is found only in the animal origin foods such as liver, kidney, fish, chicken, meats, and where curd is a better source than the dietary milk. Recommended daily allowance in children of about 0.5 to 1.5 microgram per day should be taken, and in adults of about 3 microgram per day should be taken. In pregnancy and lactation, you can see that there is an increased amount of vitamin B12 intake to prevent the neurological manifestations of the fetus, that is of about 4 micrograms per day should be taken. In children, the 0.5 microgram per day, the amount is doubled in adults, that is 3 micrograms per day. Absorption, transport, and storage. The vitamin B12 sources. The vitamin B12 is found as a bounded form. That is, the B12 is bounded to the proteins. This, on reaching the stomach, stimulates the gastric parietal cells to secrete the intrinsic factor. Vitamin B12 is an extrinsic factor. These both factors combine to form a complex, which is the B12 intrinsic factor complex. This, on reaching the small intestine, stimulates the epithelial cells, that is the intrinsic factor receptor, so that the vitamin B12 can enter into the cells, thereby to the circulation. In circulation, the B12 is founded as a transcobalamin. The methylcobalamin, which is converted to the deoxyadenosyl B12, is stored in the liver. The body can store of about 4 to 5 milligram, which will usually last for 4 to 6 years. Biochemical function. In the bacteria, only 10 enzymes require vitamin B12, whereas in mammals, like humans, only 2 enzymes require, such as in the conversion of the homocysteine to methionine and in the isomerization of the L-methylmalonyl-CoA to succinyl-CoA. This succinyl-CoA is required for the formation of heme and porphyrin. These both require for the formation of red blood cells. When there is a deficiency of the cobalamin, there will be no formation of succinyl-CoA, leading to no formation of porphyrin and heme, which will lead to no formation or decreased production of the red blood cells. In this way, they are related to the formation of red blood cells. Risk factors where the deficiency can occur at a higher rate, such as elderly, strict vegetarians, and people who take drugs like metformin, which is an anti-diabetic drug, and long-term antacids, and along with them those who have had surgery that removes the part of the bowel that absorbs vitamin B12. Deficiency symptoms. The 9 top signs you should know the vitamin B12 deficiency are listed here. First, we will go in an order. That is, in face you can see a dizziness, pale and jaundiced skin due to excess in the bilirubin content, mood changes. In the eyes you can see a disturbed or blurred vision. In mouth you can see glossitis or mouth ulcers. There will be no sensation of pins and needles due to the potential nerve damage. Rarely there can be high temperature. Fatigue, where the people will feel tired and weak. Changes to mobility, as there will be imbalance of the person. Pernicious anemia, which is characterized by the low hemoglobin levels and decreased number of erythrocytes. Now listen to the 5 important causes of the pernicious anemia carefully. First, it can be due to the insufficient production of intrinsic factor. Second, autoimmune destruction of the gastric parietal cells that secretes the intrinsic factor. Third is the hereditary malabsorption of vitamin B12. Fourth is the partial or total gastrectomy. Fifth is a dietary deficiency of vitamin B12, which is commonly seen in strict vegetarians. Neurological manifestations can be demyelination of the nervous system. The pernicious anemia and neurological manifestation together results in the accumulation of methylmalonyl-CoA, which will interfere in the myelin sheath formation, thereby leading to increased amount of methylmalonic acid in the urine. Investigations. In peripheral blood smear, you can see an hypersegmented neutrophil and the microspherocytes. The serum vitamin B12 level is to be assessed. The normal is about 200 to 900 Ng per ml. Figlu test, homocystinuria, methylmalonyl level, and most importantly, the Skilling test is also done. Laboratory testing may be used to detect a particular vitamin deficiency if you are at risk, and it determines the level of severity so that the effective treatment can be started immediately. Treatment. Vitamin B12 is given intramuscularly of about 100 to 1000 microgram. For hematological abnormalities, folic acid is given. In megaloblastic anemia, both B9 and the B12 is given, where you can see an hypersegmented neutrophil, oval macrocytes, and a teardrop cell. Now we will see the interrelation between the vitamin B9 and vitamin B12. The tetrahydrofolate, which is the active form of folic acid, is converted into 5,10-methylene tetrahydrofolate. This with the riboflavin, a methyl tetrahydrofolate is formed. This, on conversion back to the tetrahydrofolate, releases a methyl group. This methyl group is taken up by the cobalamin, so that methyl cobalamin is formed. This methyl cobalamin, on reconversion to cobalamin, releases a methyl group. This methyl group combines with the homocysteine for the formation of methionine. In the folate deficiency, there will be no formation of tetrahydrofolate, leading to no release group and no formation of methylcobalamin. And also, there will be no formation of 5,10-methylene tetrahydrofolate, leading to no conversion of DUMP to DTMP, which will directly impair the DNA synthesis. This set of reactions are called the folate trap or the methyl trap hypothesis. The diagnosis to the case scenario is folic acid deficiency. Now we will see the keys to the case scenario, which is the T-loop colostomy state, one of the risk factor of the folate deficiency. The PBS showed macrocytic anemia. The bone marrow showed megaloblastic appearance. In one of the slide, while explaining, I would have mentioned that the macrocytic anemia, where an abnormal large red blood cells is seen, is associated with the megaloblastic changes in the bone marrow, which is one of the most important characteristic features of the folate deficiency. I have said that people often get confused with these two vitamins, right? So here I will explain them. In folate deficiency, you will see folate deficiency anemia. In vitamin B12 deficiency, you will see pernicious anemia. In both folate and vitamin B12 deficiency, you will see megaloblastic anemia. In exam point of view, the sources, RDA, biochemical functions, and the deficiency manifestation of vitamin B12 can be an essay. The short notes can be FIGLU, cystinuria, and the folate trap hypothesis. Thank you so much for your patience till now. So if you guys could go back and refer your own textbooks now, so that you can make sure that this topic is completed today itself. And I hope that you people understood this topic more clearly and no more confusions. Thank you.